Maybe? Yeah? Okay. Doing tonight on this beautiful Monday morning. I've already. Yeah, no, well, that's a plus. Glad you can hear me. I've already found what could be a hate slash raid questionable. Little echoey. Alright, hold on. How about now? He says keeping an eye on chat. Wait, auto tuning? I don't intend to. Still a bit weird. Okay. Exactly the same. Okay. Alright, we're gonna mess with some things and see what's going on. Use a text voice. No, we don't want that. Okay. Okay. Alright, we're still just messing with some sound. It shouldn't be too long. Okay, how does that go now? Much better? Okay, I'm glad. I don't know what's happening there, but again, the secret is apparently muting all of the audio inputs, and then it comes from somewhere. Sorry about that drink slurp. Yeah. Only a few minutes. We've also, just a little while ago, got followed as soon as I went live by a very likely to be hate streamer, which is just going around. Hooray for that. So that was the person I blocked and banned immediately. You isn't part of Twitch links anymore. Ah, sorry. It's good to see you. I'm still bad at that. Maybe I should relink it again. Or I'm looking from my profile instead of just the actual place. Whoops. Oh, glad to have you longer. Yeah, friend Deadman's been, like every stream, messaging Twitch and making it pretty clear that this hate streaming and hate rating has got to stop. And I agree. I'm just nervous on the platform. I'm looking at new people that follow out of nowhere and doing a quick Google and a search on Twitter to see if they've been called out as someone who brings in a hate rate. But as the cis white guy, I don't think I'll get targeted because I don't need to be oppressed by the common standards of society, right? Yeah, rebooting. I saw that. I actually watched about halfway through of your playthrough of Boyfriend Dungeon. At least the first episode. That's good work. Thank you very much. I think that's one of the benefits, like the bonuses of this sort of. Some people. That's saying a lot. Thank you. I mean, I feel like that's one of the plus sides here. When a friend jumps in and continues and has a good time showing off video games to friends, right? Okay. Pretty sure it's not the first time I've made that mistake too. Whoops. Put in the wrong links out. Alright, well, we've got a minute until we usually like to start. So, go to my channel. That's the one. Head to Twitter. And I'll actually put the correct link in, right? Just a few seconds, and there. Ta-da! Thanks. Okay. I think it's in my copy paste note I keep around and I send out copy things from. If it's incorrect there, it's going to be incorrect everywhere. Okay. Well, 6 minutes past. Let's jump back into it, everybody. That looks pretty good to me. Pretty normal. I'm going to hit the continue button, and as always, you're going to tell me if the music is too exciting and or loud, okay? Thinking about grabbing a, perhaps, I don't know. There's talk. There is a walkout and or strike happening next Wednesday. Not in 2 days from now, but happening 9 days from now. And the timing's weird because it's happening in America, but if there's a date on it, internationally it should start with that date. In Australia, especially the Eastern Seaboard, maybe early, like earlier than everyone else, but I certainly won't be streaming on 1st of September, Wednesday, our time, and won't be watching anything or watching any VODs during that time, because this hate raid thing has just got to go, right? So we'll do our best. Okay, so we're in Leo Ramen. Lovely place. It's in Stormwall Gorge. Last episode, we honestly just did a bit of derping around. Just good fun. We cleared off every side quest that we could complete, including heading over to Clearbarn Wheelarg to learn the fate of Woden, who is a good friend Adair's brother. And it was sad side quest, that's for sure. We don't have any solutions. We don't know for sure why his brother turned from just outside of Defiance Bay to head all the way north to Raid Ceres. There was something about seeing. Do you get a replacement Final Fantasy 1 stream for another day? I don't know, maybe. When it comes to it, when it comes to the ethics of striking, I think doing a replacement work is a bad idea, right? It's fun work. It's streaming with you guys. I do love interacting with everyone via chat and showing off a game. So I think I do a bonus stream once Twitch is committed to doing something about the raids, right? When that happens, I'll use their platform more. It's the only power we have, and the only power we have is done in groups with other people, right? Because against massive corporations, especially massive corporations owned by Amazon, the only thing we can do is act in a group. And that's also why I'm not saying, oh, I'm a tiny streamer, I've got 35, well, 34 if you don't count, potential hate raiders, followers. It doesn't matter if I go live. Bullshit. Ideologically, solidarity. We're going to stand with them. No matter how small we are. We're going to retweet people who are not streaming that day. We're going to celebrate it. And then, like many strikes and stop works, when positive change happens, we can reward that behavior, like training a pet. And then I'll do a bonus stream, okay? It's not like we're not going to play a bit of Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster in a couple of days. You know, that was fun. We should at least have fun with it. Finished a whole bunch of side quests in Deerford Village. Stabbed a lord who deserved it, like nearly all of them. And went over back to Hadrit House to speak to the lady, the Hermit of Hadrit House, and essentially get given the decision, okay, which faction are you going to go with? The Dozens, who are, Yeah, it's worth stabbing Lord Harrond. It's worth stabbing Lord Harrond. It's funny how the town gives you a massive, like, more of a positive reputation bonus if you stab him. So that's good. We could take the reputation hit in Defiant Space, so we did. And yeah. Anyway, 35th of the Little Channel didn't know anything about it. Yeah, well, fly by night, you know, it happens. I think I'm more likely to think it's botnets as well. People's accounts are compromised by a really maliciously coded botnet that is stealing people's accounts or impersonating people's accounts to spread hate. Pretty shit, but God, all that power, all those skills, and you use them to make people's lives worse. What an awful thing. And like there was a lot of side questing. We went to Pearlwood Bluff to get a bead on Bursok's reincarnation, and landed slightly closer to Twin Elms in that area. And we went to essentially we decided, okay, let's go with the dozens because they're the least awful compared to the Dominel family, which we couldn't join because they're all dead, and the Crucible Knights, who are cops trying to invent RoboCop, and I can tell you that's going to go poorly. So we went with the vigilantes, who weirdly enough, as soon as we joined the dozens and said, yeah, all right, we'll start doing stuff, they started all acting like dicks. We went over to Woodend Plains to meet a group of people, adventurers, who immediately tried to kill us, and we had to talk them down from the fight. And now we're into Stormont Gorge. That kind of bothered me. I didn't like that writing. It happens actually a couple times in the Pillar series, where you have to join a faction, and they're all not very good. Right? Or when you join them, you learn they're slightly worse. I did have a shower thought that's like, what happens if you straight up can attack people for no reason? What happens if you kill everyone? Do you skip the quest and Hadrat House and Dunreed Row say, look, we didn't want to do this, but we will have to force it, so we will. Like that. Who knows? That's something to Google. Larksy, specifically send me monstrous Captain fan art. Yeah, but he's a cute cat. Thank you. Alright, so that's a bit of a refresher of what we did last episode. Let's get on with it, because I want to finish Act 2 tonight, and then head to the White March, okay? So, Stone Head. You hear grating and grinding coming from the stone head above you. The chips of Adra in its eye sockets glow bright green. A voice, deep and resonant, echoes from the stone mouth. What begins as a garble of language resolves itself in your own mother tongue. There is no truer blade than essence forged in bronze. Turn twice to the left and prepare your soul for its reckoning. Rude Beating says, if you refuse to work with Lady Webb, you get a non-standard game over. That makes sense. The faction thing in Fallout, then. The ending of Mass Effect. I hate the faction thing in Fallout primarily because I don't like the Fallout games. But in Fallout, you're given a choice to say, I'm not working with any of them, and that's good. I have actually no game sound myself. Well, that's right, because I turned the master volume down quite a lot. There we go. It's a little bit better. And in the Mass Effect endings, Mass Effect 3 endings, I didn't like them not because they said you need to make a choice. I didn't like the original interpretation because they felt rushed. You know? Yeah. There are bits at the end of Mass Effect 3 that felt rushed. That was the thing I didn't like the most. Well, the thing I didn't like the most when I first played it. After that, the thing I didn't like the most was the harassment campaign that proved to gamers you could get change by doing that. But when, surprising surprise, when you give creatives more time to write things, right, and they didn't feel rushed, the updated versions were great. I liked the enhanced ending. Oh, jeez. It's going to heal out. Crunch is bad? Yeah, exactly, rebooting. You're totally right. And the not standard KFMO if you refuse to work with them. Like, yeah, that makes sense. You go, okay, I'm not going to work with you. Alright, you die without recourse. What about, they said specifically, we don't want to do this to force our way in. But what if? Like, would it happen? I don't know. I think I might load a save and figure it out. The symbols here catch the light from the braziers. All honour to those who give themselves for the glory of Engwith. The pale stones around the room looked dull and lifeless. And when we walked in, spectres appeared out of nowhere, right? The options felt kind of rough, but they were meant to be that way. Like, in Mass Effect 3? Yeah, but here's why I didn't hate them at first. Because you weren't talking to a godlike being, like the Star Child, or whatever we ended up calling it. You were talking to an AI created that already showed you that it had bad solutions, right? Because the bad solutions it gave you were those three, and the previous bad solution it was using before then were, oh, well, we'll kill all of the societies and put them inside the Reapers, right? That way their genetic heritage will continue forever, right? That's a ridiculous answer. I'm sorry to call out a game from many years ago, but that's not a solution. Precursor race. That's dumb. What the fuck? But it straight up said, "This is all I have. It's the best idea I have. Look, if you've got a better idea, you're the first people to get this far. What do you think about this, this, and this?" That didn't feel great, right? You don't win, as Lux is saying, not rough like unfinished, but rough like imperfect, like not 100% satisfying. It seemed like the point was you don't win, you don't solve everything perfectly, but you improve the outcome. Yeah, yeah. And I don't hate that, but I certainly understand how it could rub people the wrong way, especially like nearly every time. Video game endings are hard. They always are. And as my good friend, can't remember his screen name right now, but generally goes by Wormwood, he said, look, BioWare hasn't had a good ending to a video game in a long time. And then you blink a couple times and think, oh my god, they haven't had a good video game to an ending to a video game in a long time either. What the hell? Yeah, this will not end, as Rebooting says, didn't mind it because it felt like this will not end happily was telegraphed. Yeah, exactly. The series itself has a neat, like, main theme of AI and synthetics and organics are going to fight all the time, right? And then a lot of the time Shepard is like, if you're really Paragon and you try very hard, you can have a solution. It's like, maybe they don't have to, right? And you are given a choice, which is maybe they don't have to. Synthesis. And that's the one I chose, because the series to me was about AI versus organic versus synthetic life. Yeah. I like that they allowed you to choose the destroy or control or synthesize. Those are good themes to have. It's just it felt like with more time and more writing to how this choice affected the galaxy, it would have worked. And when I got that, I was very happy, very satisfied indeed. And I also like that they added the fourth ending, which seemed to be written out of spite. I shoot this Stark child, and he immediately goes, "Hey, fuck you!" And you get another cutscene. Which is essentially the thing. The package that Liara sent into the future and buried was enough information early enough to have the next cycle end. Cool. I don't hate that. That's pretty cool. It's a shame you don't get to see it, but as a fourth ending, that's not terrible. I also think it was put in out of spite because the indoctrination ending and a lot of complaint videos had Shepard shooting the Star Child endlessly with that pistol you have. I don't know how anyone can... Yeah. Anyway. We're playing Pillars. You feel an unwelcome crawling sensation in your head. A high-pitched ring overwhelms your senses and is accompanied by an angry utterance. Invader! Thief! The voice is alien and fierce, jolting through your mind like lightning. Needles stab at your brain with every syllable, but vanish abruptly along with the words. The ringing in your head is gone. So, Cypher, right? Finally select everyone. It's gotta be a Cypher. Whispering in our head. Proper Spide Editing also deals with Liara's. Yeah. A cylindrical hollow, scarcely wider than the shaft of a weapon, runs through the center of this pedestal. Alright. The serpentine symbols and icons of Enquith engraved into the floor resolve into words in your mind. The warrior shall call forth 2 witnesses, and they shall take up positions on the emblems that bear testament to the character of his soul. The warrior shall ascend the dais, soul vessel in hand, to undergo transference. Bearing his soul vessel and a weapon with a heart of Adra, the warrior may then approach this urn. The urn. In this way he shall fashion an arm worthy of his skills and ambitions. Alright. We're here, the pedestal with a hole in it. Grasp your weapon as you approach the pedestal. Terrible. What are we doing? Okay, so... God, that's a good chant. We're here to find weapons to deal with Adra animates, because the Adventurer's Hall is pretty certain that the Crucible Knights are actually going to absolutely find a way to get their animate project up and running. And so the best way to deal with their weapon that's about to happen is to have another shiny weapon you get from Engwith. So of course we brought Hiravius, who just loves... Yeah. Jeez, that's a dangerous fight. There's seeing Gwella. Small white stones bloom from the rock. They all feel firmly fixed in place, but there's a hollow where one appears to have removed. Looks pretty too, that's why I zoomed in. You don't think you have game sound? That's weird. Okay, audio. Hold on. How about that? Now Alt-Tab. Getting shuffling feet. Jingles.
Yeah? Yeah?
Chimes. Beautiful. Thank you. So, I may have mentioned as I started that I was messing about with profiles because I wanted to set up one profile for Final Fantasy 1 and one profile for Pillars, and I thought I did, and it didn't seem to do anything except the position of windows, not the scenes, the sources, the audio configuration, nothing. So I just got to give myself more time between each stream whenever I switch between the two. There should be a way to handle this, and it's weird that there isn't. I'll just keep messing about, don't worry. Stonehead. Yeah? They're well voiced. I like unit barks too. So much flavour in such short clips. Stonehead. As a green light spills from the relief's eyes, you hear another deep, rough-edged voice. Desire is the aim of the soul. It is purpose and direction, the sharpened point of a blade. Speak your ambitions so that your soul may strike true. Hey, chat. We've got to answer this, right? And I don't want to just answer it myself. What are we doing? 1. I desire resilience and the ability to draw strength from my struggles. And 2. I aim to become a mightier version of who I am today. 3. I would like to inspire those around me and lend my strength to our common purpose. 4. I wish to subdue my foes with my power. And 5. Leave. Dead man! Jumping in just to say leave. I don't even think we started a conversation. Like, we wandered up and it was like, hey, desire is the aim of the soul. Now I agree. I think desire and the fulfilling of it is a worthy goal. But still. Dead man's a good friend. No Stonehead tells Slam Shadows what to do. He's just like, speak your ambition. I think I've got a solution. We got 1 vote for 2 votes for 3, 1 for 5. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Slam Shadows is like, I'll be back. How dare you tell me what to do, Stonehead? I wish to inspire those around me and lend my strength to our common purpose. Yeah, that's Slam Shadow's decision, right? So shall it be. So shall it be. A symbol glows to life on the wall. It pulses with light, smouldering against a lichen-coloured wall. I mouse clicked again twice. A vessel of flesh may house a soul for years, but a vessel of bronze will house a soul for generations. Enter the water and choose a vessel of stone. Okay, what was that? Ooh, Peridot. So it might be Peridot.
Will be as silent as my feet.
You're not.
Curious is nearly out of spells. That was good. Okay. Yeah, just use that, buddy. T is pronounced in Peridot. Okay, cool. I didn't know. I had a kind of sad moment in a stream last night where Dead Man was having a good time playing Eternal Symphonia? Something like that. And the fucking game crashed. Eternal Sonata, thank you, that's exactly right. The friggin' game crashed, and after some research, he discovered that the game itself's emulation, because it was originally a 360 game, the emulation on the PlayStation version screws it up so bad that you can't finish it. Now that's sad, because it was fun. And apparently pulled no punches, because there was a boss fight fairly early that beat up a small child. And while in video games that's pretty funny, it was cool to have challenge there, right? To have the first boss fight you do is difficult. Better figure out the mechanics, have fun. The stone face's Aevar eyes glow, and a voice rumbles from its open mouth. So I do kind of want to see more of Eternal Sonata. Maybe I'll watch another Let's Player. Who knows? The past is the hilt of a weapon. The true warrior grasps it and knows his strength. Speak the quality that defines you. We got another choice, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. We could leave, do a circle, come back again. Totally possible. So, I bring people together. I'm at my best when I'm working alongside my allies. Or 2. I'm consistent and reliable. I can work through any obstacle with patience and dedication. Or 3. I'm bravest when things are at their worst. I face life's rigors head on and triumph. Or 4. I let nothing get in the way of what needs to be done. I make the hard choices. 4 seems pretty slammy. 2 is nice. I like it. But it's not like charming and silly. 4 seems more like slam. I'll give us a few more seconds if anyone wants to leap in with a vote, but got a couple of votes for 4. One of the things we enjoy about this video game, and particularly Slam Shadows in Pillars, is that very often we're like, well, we'll make the decision, because we can. We have the power in this, we're going to do it. And so Slam very often is like, yeah, I'll make a decision. You killed a kid, I'm going to stab you with the knife that I took off his body. Screw you. You know? So, he does make the hard choices. Number 4. So it is with your power. A symbol burns on the wall behind the stone head. Hey Blake, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Baldur's Gate vibes is exactly right, because a number of people from Obsidian came from Black Isle, and they made Baldur's Gate. As an isometric RPG, a lot of them follow the Baldur's Gate like inspiration, because that's just, it was really successful. It's what people enjoyed. Especially with like the party members here, several rests per day. I see. So we've been around and answered a couple of questions from Stoneheads, but as you can see, nowhere else to go here except down the hole. Wait. No, we couldn't jump across there, because that's a cracked pit. So we're going down the hole. I know, Luxie, but we just can't get there. So, in the hole. This large tunnel curves underneath the floor and continues to the east. It's blocked by glistening ropes of webbing that you might be able to slide past. The walls beneath the webbing feel weak and crumbly. With the proper tools, you may be able to widen the passage. Punch through the wall so you can see. That sounds like break through the webbing. Let's widen the tunnel with a hammer and chisel. One or two are kind of punching, but one of them seems to be thinking the process through before we just give it a go. So yeah, we've got a hammer and chisel. Let's do it. You find a weak point in the rock and hammer the walls of the passage. The brittle stone crumbles away. Within minutes, you've got enough room to slip through the tunnel. As you hear a passage, a needle-like voice digs into your skull once more. Infiltrating! Pursuing! You shall not have it! You hear a hungry chittering. Now! Feed! Skittering creatures with gnashing mandibles pour from the walls. Spiders!
In poison.
My mind feels sharp as steel.
You hear a hungry chittering. Slime shadows didn't have breakfast. Okay. So whatever it was, the spider thing seems to be irritated that we did that. Enter the tunnel. The passage through is clear enough. Worse than most Aussie backyards. And boy, we're used to it. Doesn't mean we don't hate it. Stop. I just instinctively yelled stop. Because I wanted these characters to stop moving. Right? Hilarious. But, trapped disarmed. Okay, let's go. It did kind of work. Way more redback looking webs than you want to touch. Yeah, same. It actually reminds me of a game called There Came an Echo, which I haven't played yet, but it is a tactical strategy. It's not a real, not generally, it is in real time, but it is very specifically about a tactics game where the primary method of ordering your party where to go is verbally. And I think it's got 3 members of the crit roll team as voice actors for the characters you're ordering around. That sounds cool. I want to give that a try. Shattered crystal crunches and tinkles underfoot. Because then I could yell stop and then have it perhaps work. That's pretty funny. Instead of just hitting spacebar and hoping that it will work.
Margaret's fire casts light in dark places.
I'll keep it to myself. More Peridot. Okay, Spitters, Widowmaker, and not small Widowmakers. Good God. It shouldn't be overstated at how just creepy it is and how frequent it is that games are like, big spiders. This looks like a big fight. Let's just take a nap. There you go. Both suck down a father couple. Yeah, like, I don't want to walk in blind. A message arrived. Palace messenger. Prestigious visitor. Well, we'll have to go visit. We'll go home at some point. Bunch of big spiders. They're not angry now, but I'm sure they will in a moment.
That's unusual.
Redrek. Accurate too. Pretty neat. Atra Enoch. Jeez. Not so angry we can befriend him, but look, let's find out. Redrek, what does he say? A robed, gangling creature lurches towards you, and you feel something needling at your brain again. The screeching hiss that invades your mind is edged with rage. Digging and ferreting animal! It pauses, mouthpieces clacking. When its words fill your mind again, they're tempered with fear. My legacy. Benevolent too. So that's because our reputation is being benevolent. It clutches an egg-like stone in its spindly fingers. The white stone glows with life, and you feel a presence inside. The creature notices your interest. For the colony. It cocks its head. Animal calm, peaceful, yes? Its thoughts echo back at you from within the stone. It occurs to you that a piece of the creature's soul is somehow housed within it. I don't know if we have a giant cup and piece of paper. I'd like to hug him. He seems slightly friendly. What are you doing with that stone? Grieving mother. Such a different form, and yet its mind is alive with the same thoughts as ours. She closes her eyes. Home, family, memory, legacy, colony. Its segmented mouth parts scrape together. Young are always few, slow to hatch, fragile. The creature indicates itself with a hairy appendage. Last of colony, soon to die. It draws the stone closer to its narrow chest. Long dead animals put spirit stuff in metal. It points behind it. I keep spirit stuff in stone. Take to new colony. Colony alone is weak, young, frail, empty of wisdom. But two colonies together survive. Make strong colony. It strokes the stone. Need legacy to guide new colony. Keep it strong. Hey everyone, 1, 2, or 3. Befriend with Spite, the psychic spider that needles in our mind and yells at us. Well, I agree, honestly. There's no reason not to. We went up and spoke to it, we immediately sensed fear, and it's like, please help. We're like, yeah, alright. I like yeah, alright. Friend and psychic spider. A lot of the time, I feel like being able to talk mentally with, right? With creatures would help. Better than Liberty Party. Yeah, exactly, right? He did say friends. He didn't say, I'll pay people that own companies and not you, okay? 2 votes for 2 and 1 vote for friend with my psychic spider, so I'm going to count that as 1 or 2. Let's go with 2. Go, and may there be peace between our kinds. Benevolent 2. Its black, unblinking eyes stare back at you. Warm relief gushes into your mind. Knows peace and gentleness it does. Redeck go. Bring legacy. Many thanks. He left the Crystal Eaters and the Widowmakers. Sarcophagus. Clad Halaith. Unique spear. One-handed. It's actually not that interesting. Like, this bronze spear appears to be crafted with great care, despite its age, its sharp, agile lines. Right? But it's got +5 accuracy, and that's all. It also has ancient Egwith and weapons. Something hums within them, a faded remnant of essence. Whatever power they had is long since dissolved. Quest updated, bronze beneath the lake, got it. Bring him to Wenin and Expedition Hall. Alright, that's pretty good. We can also level up, and that's very cool as well. Oh, also talk to Adair.
Hope I didn't seem ungrateful back there in the battlefield. And you went out of your way.
It was important to you.
Got real close. Didn't expect that. And for a second, I thought I was going to finally see some answers.
He smiles ruefully.
Foolish, of course. And why should I get answers? There's a world of Aethasians out there who don't know if their god's been blown up. Still, man can't help looking back. Guess you'd know that well as anyone.
He claps her on the shoulder. Adair stares off, focusing on some distant thing, unseen and unrealized.
I might have turned my back on my god when he needed me. That's all I'll ever know.
This is a tough question, right? And these are the things that's best expressed. Like, again, everyone, I'd like to vote on them. I'm not going to read them all because I'm going to ramble a little bit, so throw out a vote while I ramble. This is the kind of thing that's very hard to do in a tabletop game, right? You could perhaps involve an NPC, right? But if you're going to have such a deep and interesting question, right? In someone's backstory, you'd want it to come up and have a solution. And one of the big themes of Adair's story here and his entire quest is like, you're not going to know. And it's so tied to the world itself, to the backstory of the world, that if you did have a definite answer, remember the question is why did my brother turn to Aethys and raid Ceres instead of the Deerwood? But it's also like, it's also asking at the same time, was that really Aethys? And if you want to have a really big, incredibly high fantasy story, you could come to that conclusion. After most of the game, right? You can come to a solution. Come to an answer and then tell him, and then have him reckon with it, right? But instead, if you're doing this at your table and you want to have this low story where the best solution you have is Adair, your brother lived long enough to go see Aethys and then fight and die. Right? Then it's hard to give that to a player as a solution. It's hard to play that. And as we're looking at Pillars of Eternity through the lens of what would this be like if we were doing it at a table, it's more satisfying for a player's story to have a conclusion. And instead, we're getting an NPC to have a none. And a lot of the time saying, hey, look at this party as a group of players, and this quest, and especially this choice, is quite specifically, look at you as a player and Adair as an NPC. That's how you do it. Okay, 1 vote for 2, 1 vote for 4, 2 votes for 2. Player may think this is part of a redemption or dissension arc. Yeah, that's true. And honestly, that feels like Neverwinter Nights 1 with Erebeth, right? 3 for 2. Yeah, okay. Well, I think that's pretty accurate. I would personally vote for 4 on this one. And that's, like, it could come across as meaning to Adair, but I think 2 is a good choice. Let's do it. 2 better than 4, yeah. And specifically, Erebeth's, like, turn and then redemption. Sorry, spoilers from Neverwinter Nights 1. You did what you had to. Even if Aevar was Aethys, his actions were destructive. And they were. Remember, the army killed people. They're an army moving over territory. They kill and they slash and they burn.
His actions didn't seem righteous enough for a god. That's why me and Woden had Widewind figured for a pretender. It didn't occur to me that my god might actually mean to do harm to his own.
And this response from him is, again, reiterating that Adair has deep faith for the god of redemption and rebirth.
Something to think about, I guess.
That's it. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Luxie. You're satisfied with his reasoning, yeah. Lol, extra lore. It's really high. We should consider, yeah. Oh, we get 3rd level invocation. Love it. We've got Rise, Rise Again, Signs of Add-on. AoE Revive with with 53 endurance. Just res everyone who may have fallen. That's really cool. Gninsk Beast lit the night with his breath. Summon a dragon. Oh, but knock not on the door of Erdal and Girdle. Summon 2 ogres. 7 nights she waited while the white winds wept. Foe target. Lot of damage. That's good. We're probably going to get that. The bride caught their ruse and set to make them pay. Dexterity, perception, and intellect +5 to all of them. That's pretty good. The bridesmen slew 30 before they crossed half the hall. Massive stat bonuses here. Level 3 evocations are real strong. Slim Shadows is listed. His AI is a summoner and buffer. So I actually think we're gonna go. I want this 5 might, 5 con, 5 resolve. That's massive. Let's do that. Don't need any of those. Should take us too long to decide this. Hold the light, no. Saves are not bad. Yeah, let's take shot on the run. It reloads fast when moving. Hey, Gibbled. Good to see you tonight. A lot of talk about Mass Effect, a lot of messing about with audio, me having to rebuild the scenes at the beginning because that's just how this works. I've befriended some spiders. Maybe good for you to miss that. And talking to stone hands. Warrior shall call forth 2 witnesses, and they shall take up positions on the emblems that bear testament to the character of his soul. And warrior shall ascend the dyer's soul vessel in hand to undergo transference. Bearing his soul vessel and a weapon with the heart of Adra, the warrior may then approach the urn. In this way he shall fashion an arm worthy of his skills and ambitions. Okay, so that's a puzzle, right? First off, we picked up a weapon that wasn't that particularly interesting, right? Just a little while ago? Or was it a cool spear? Where are you, buddy? Where's the salt? There it is. Let's put a spear in your hand. I can't do this bit anymore? Whoops. Well, I'm glad to hear rebooting.
Hey.
What about if I... Tell me more, I'll see if it works, but in the meantime, me type up
Need something?
some people we trust. We'll go stand in front of... It's a choice between empowering the weapon and killing the speeder. Well, we decided not to kill the speeder. God, because he's got the address stone in his hand, isn't it? You're exactly right, because then we walk up, talk to this stone face, talk to this again, and then, yeah, exactly. Well, it's just a weapon, you know? Jimbles refusing to seduce the pedestal. It would be bad for Slam Shadow's junk, I believe he's a cis man, to squish into a stone hollow, right? As funny as that would be, it's not a choice. It's very much like eat the magic item scroll, right? It's something we can joke about and wish we could do, but it's just not an option. As much as I'd love to. Very out of character, frankly terrible manners. We're all in so much trouble. Well, let's go home and get that letter while we're there. Oh, you lot. This is going to get me in trouble. Speaking of experience, it's not a good idea to slam your...
Looks a little healthier than before.
Not a good idea to slam your junk into stone. Give it some buff? Well, depends how thick the stone is, right? Palace Messenger. Just make dildos out of stone. They smooth the stone! Bound and buried. Superstitious folk near Rose End have been acting on a rumour that the hair of a dead virgin that was bound and buried alive can cure a hollowborn. Not only has it resulted in horrific attacks against young women, but unscrupulous merchants have taken to selling bits of hair to those who don't have the stomach to perform the act themselves. Rhodes End's local thanes have assigned agents to root out the problem, but they've had little success. Go, Palagina, you get him. That's a damn good point, Rebooty. Hey, remember how I said we were going to rebuild a couple things? This is one of them. We got a priest, baby. May the gods guide and protect all who seek their blessing.
Hello.
Greetings, my lord. Thank you for restoring our chapel to its former glory. I am certain the gods look favourably upon you. I've gathered what scrolls I could find. Perhaps they could be some use to you in your travels. Right, what do you have? Valor paralysis protection. No, I think we're good. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, though. I think a potential... It's more likely the time it will be broken due to horse travel. Yeah, that's true.
Looks a little healthier than before.
I think... Look at our forum. Love that. Both agreeing with each other. Yeah, I think one interpretation of the translation is that virgin blood meant not strictly blood of virgin, but blood that has been used in no ritual before. I like that. That makes sense. Certainly less icky to me. This looks like something from an Aederian drinking game in which several vials are filled with water and one with concentrated sonreed liquor. Fun. Springs, gears, and wires jangle around in the crate. Interlocking rings are carved with peculiar symbols. They slide across one another with a soft series of clicks. Ooh, fidget box.
Hello.
Artificer. Greetings, my lord. He will find only the most ingenious of contraptions, oils and snares and tumor crafts, all to fetter and frustrate your foes. Do you wish to have a look? Let me see what you have. Oh, cool. Traps I never use. Here, have a mace.
The stones and the spirits in this place have begun to heal.
I know, grieving mother, you say it every time we're home. I think we're currently building... No, we're not. Okay. Let's build the woodland trails. It happens, rebooting. Typos just fact of life. Craft shopkeeper. Their folded shirts feel soft and lightweight. Oh, lovely. Dried fruit, cured meat, and the mixed nuts are sorted among the display cases. Craft shopkeeper.
Traveler.
Good tidings, my lord. Might I interest you in anything? I offer supplies for the road. I'm sure you'll find many things of use to a hardy traveller such as yourself. Let me see what you have. Fine weaponry. Not particularly fancy, but very fine indeed. And a torch. Alright. Thanks. I'm okay. Have some poultry. Changing keyboards is hard, let alone when you have a split keyboard for HNS, right?
Looks a little healthier than before.
There's our garden bed restored. The maze is looking nice too. Certainly does look a little healthier than before. Cadnua is looking pretty good. Good job, everybody. Good job, everybody. We've even restored both the kitchen. Rich, savoury stew bubbles over the hearth.
Place is getting too nice. We start having fancy dinner parties, and I don't know if we can still be friends.
But yeah, how could you? Our fountain and our common room. How lovely is this, right? Please know that as I tell you Slim Shadows would slam junk into a stone pedestal, I'm clutching knitting in my hands, says Luxie. Well, it's that or clutch pearls, right? Lovely little place. Just showing it off. Got all the potential bonuses we have as well. Big bonuses to stats. +3 might. A distant relative of Grammaphil the Wayfarer has arrived at the stronghold requesting he be freed in exchange for coin. He was nearly set upon by brigands on the road, but your patrols intervened. Yeah, alright, whatever. He unprepared to meet his own death. He tried to attack us for no reason. We're like, beat him up, say no, put him in the dungeon. Like, okay, we have no intention of keeping him prisoner forever. Wereguild's not great, but we'll take the money. How about... Can we give this money to the people who've killed for no reason? Sadly not. Video games are not perfect, I'm afraid. We're not always allowed to set up restorative justice as much as we may like to. I also know that Aloth has enough experience to level up. Mechanics 10! He needs it. Mechanics will still give the money to the victims of crime. Golem King! Mods for restorative justice. That would be good. We've already got some level 5 spells, so we're just picking up another one. That's just a straight AoE and we'll kill some of our own people. Terrifying flame around the caster. Let's do that. No, let's summon a weapon. Alchemy's Wondrous Torment. Reduce a lot of things to enemies. Yeah, let's do that. That's funny. Should just take bonus spells per day. Yeah, he's a wizard. I'm sorry, spells per day, it's just what we do. We give that choice as what we want. Restorative justice is what mods or fanfiction is for.
Better indeed.
Yes, Aloth. I like getting a tiny amounts of XP from exploring and leveling up from them. That's very funny. I know a friend who hit like level 31 on a class in Final Fantasy when we did that. It's just guiding him around in my chocobo cart. Very fun. Oh, stuff. I love stuff. Yoke. Thank you. Palace Messenger. Pardon the intrusion, my lord. Chancellor Warren urgently requests you meet him at the Child Barrel in Brackenbury. Is it about Cadnura again? I don't know. My apologies, my lord. Merely a messenger. Perception 15. You notice a bead of sweat trickle from the messenger's brow. Remind me who Chancellor Warren is? He's the legal arbiter of Earl Badamar, Lord of the Grasp. I believe you made his acquaintance at the Ducal Palace. But why isn't the Chancellor meeting me at the palace? Perhaps the Chancellor is meeting with you in an unofficial capacity. It happens from time to time. Alright, I'll meet with him when I can. The messenger bows and leaves. And grieving mother leveled up. Whew. Stealth up. Powers. 20 accuracy when attacking the same. No, it requires 50 focus to cast. Borrowed instinct. Foe target, yeah. Attack enemy to reduce their stats and increase it for her. It's fantastic. Brittle backlash. Nah. Greater focus. I'm still in favour of the power thruple of Adair, Aloth, Isilmir. Yeah, well, that'll be pretty funny. And I agree. Let's go when they target her with a mental attack. They get stunned. But it's versus will. I think greater focus is just more fun. Like, it seems too pedestrian, but honestly, increasing a max focus is absolutely worth it. Right, that was the only reason we were back here. Blake, it's lovely to have you. Hit us up with a follow if you haven't already. Otherwise, maybe we'll see you again. You can always catch us in the VODs. And hey, everyone in the VODs. Hope you're catching up.
Better indeed.
Look at alive. Considered writing that, says rebooting. Well, it'd be really good. Okay, back to Brackenbury. Fantasy writers have no sense of distance and scale. Hey, rebooting. Burner account's good, but also, like, don't be afraid of your work. I write smut almost exclusively. When I get when I'm at a confident point and I feel like I'm coming up to it, I'm making promises. I intend to like put it somewhere where people can see. Actually, added your account to D&D group. Yeah, that's fair. Mako, good to see you tonight. Hey, this Chancellor Warren. Rare pairings. Lord Slam Shadows, what brings you to Brackenbury? You put down the air, old man. You summoned me. No, I didn't. I received a missive from you. The Chancellor sits down his mug of ale and looks at you quizzically. Oh no, the Chancellor, he was old, wasn't he? He was old. We're going to start this again. Lord Slam Shadows, what brings you to Brackenbury? Put down the ale, old man. You summoned me. No, I didn't. I received a missive from you. The Chancellor sets down his mug of ale and looks at you quizzically. As far as I knew, nothing has changed regarding your rightful possession of Caed Nua. You realise that the child barrel has gone quiet, and turn to see the last of the patrons quickly disappearing through the front door. A moment later, a group of armed men and women stride into the tavern. Uh-huh. Oh dear. The Chancellor quickly ducks behind the table. The woman leading the armed group lowers her cowl with one hand while keeping the other on a pistol tucked into her belt. You immediately recognise Gathbin's captain. Now that the sheep's been herded from their pen, you and I can conduct our business, unfortunate as it may be. I remember you. You were with Lord Gathbin at the palace. Orlin. And I tell you, she grins, I'll admit, with your reputation, I expected someone a little taller. That's a little mean. What do you want? Oh, I think you know. Lord Caspian has ordered your death. She forces a frown. A shame, really. I admire your exploits, even if only half of them are true. Sadly, I have my orders. Caspian will lose. You should work for me. The man is swine, albeit noble, wealthy swine. Her lip curls in feigned disgust. Were I to do it again, I doubt I had taken in with him. But what's done is done, and Lord Gaspin is as ruthless as he is arrogant. He'll go to great lengths to avenge a betrayal. And what could you offer me to make me consider such a risk? Hey chat, 1, 2, 3, or 4? Slam Shadows, he is short, but he's still cool anyway, right? I feel like Shen would respond best to 3. She would, yeah, you know, money. But like, if it really annoyed at her, we could just shoot her, right? That's totally an option. Got some people will launch a fireball, it'll be very funny. But one better life serving an honourable lord. We'll give her money. 2 votes for 1. 1 vote for 3 or 4. Kibald. Kibald. Alright, you're on a roll. Anything, Kibald says. Oh, you're funny. Alright. Well, I actually want to go with 1. So that's my vote, but I got 2 for that. A better life serving an honourable lord. Wish we could say it like smartly, right? That's funny. That's too much effort rebooting. Do an actual voting system. Benevolent 3. I've heard such stories about you. They can't all be true, can they? She's silent a moment. Tales of your charity, your kindness. But I also see the strength in you. But is that enough to best Lord Gathbin? That gamble is too rich for my blood. Still, I think I can tell Gathbin that you didn't take the bait and never showed up here. No need for anyone to die today, eh? She looks to her troops and they nod in agreement. Know this. The day will soon come when you must face Lord Gathbin. I've lived this long by knowing which side to be on. Prove yourself on the battlefield and who knows? Until we meet again, Slime Shadows. It's good enough. We don't have to kill her for no reason. May have to kill her later, but hey. Well, that was unexpected. Warren emerges from beneath his table and smooths the rumpled sleeves of his robe. It does make the strange reports I've received from the Grasp make a lot more sense in context, however. What haven't you told me? Well, Badamar decided to keep an eye on Lord Gathbin's activities. Gathbin has been hiring a lot of men recently, but for what purpose? We can't say. I'd advise you to take extra precautions in Cadnoa. He may be attempting to place spies or saboteurs within your walls. Alright. Be wary, Slime Shadows. I don't think you've seen Lord Gathbin's endgame yet. He swallows the rest of his ale and gives you a curt nod before heading for the door. Alright. This is not going to be good. We know that, right? More games need kindness to be a positive. Kill all spies. Donk. An extra knockdown. I don't... Make him a barbarian. It's a mode. Extra poison. Mental fortress, so he just doesn't get charmed as easily. Doesn't use any of those. All those. Honestly, I think passive. Extra chance to interrupt on attack. Let's do that. That's good. Fuck every game that punishes you for being kind. I feel two ways. I don't want it to get like just like sad. You know, it never feels good to do good. But sometimes I like there to be a bit of sacrifice in the idea of being good. But I don't want it to be a surprise. That's the weird thing about it. I'd rather... I hate the ones where you're like, I'm going to do a good thing, and then suddenly you're like, that was actually the bad thing, and now you're a bad person. That sucks. We hate that.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
Nice. But I do occasionally like saying, like the game signposting, this will be hard on you if you do this, but it's nicer, and you go, plant that signpost. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the hard thing. I don't care if it's harder. I want to be nice. And then the game is like, alright, jeez, good job. Yeah. When it feels like a trick, I hate that. There's some games that are like that. I think so far, Pillar hasn't done that. Every time we're like, alright, I'll give you the money, sex worker, so that you can, so that we can get the thing. Oh, lie down, Repeating. I hope you're watching on the VODs, or you're still watching while lying down, just not typing. It's been lovely to have you typing while you can. Otherwise, rest tight. We'll see you in the VODs, right? Counter option is harder, but potentially has a better payoff, even if that payoff is kindness is only acknowledged in a satisfying way. Yeah, Kill. Yeah, Luxie, that's a good point. I like that too. I think it's worse when it's a surprise nasty thing. Whoops, you accidentally did something awful. I don't like that. Then casually nods you away. You know, his eyes continue to float from mercenary to mercenary as he speaks. Oh, what else do you need? Alright, well, here the tarnished and glittered weapons. I brought the weaponry you were looking for.
They're old, all right. But this isn't what I was expecting. I don't suppose you figured out what was supposed to make them so special.
He frowns as he surveys the bundle of weapons and looks back up at you. Ding weapons? Oh. Now Luxie and Kill are both annoyed at me for messing their name up. That's good. I like that it's a non-unique experience that your mother calls you by the name of every one of your siblings and also their dog. Yeah, that happened to me. My mother called me Pedro at least once. He was a good dog. Barrel-shaped, but a good dog. Okay, hey chat, one or two. Because he's like, don't suppose you figured out what happened to make. Want to get the voice right. Remember, we assumed they were Irish, even though his voice was definitely not. I don't suppose you figured out what was supposed to make them so special. One or two. We tell them the truth. We say, we used to fill them with fragments of their own essence. Or we just lie to them and say, I have no idea, man. It's up to you. Come on, you can do it. One? What will they do with that info? I mean, it's honest. What will they do with it? The dozens are against Animancy too, so I do feel like we say, and they'll go, okay, no. You keep them then. I'm gonna give us a few more seconds in case someone wants to vote. Kind of funny to lie about it. I mean, I get that too. We're also not practiced at being deceptive, so we may just get you mind telling us the truth there, you idiot? Maybe continue to lie. And the reason lazy makes them think, oh, cool, maybe we can like murder some children and make it happen. Loxy! They're not the cops. We decided explicitly we're not going to talk to the Crucible Knights. Alright, no last minute votes. I'm going to go with one. Let's do it. The Ingwethans used to fill them with fragments of their own essence. Beasts, take them. He stares at the rusted weapons in horror and disgust. If I'd known, I'll see that someone disposes of this perversion.
At least I don't have to waste any more expeditions on this. If the Knights make a move, we'll just have to face them down with old-fashioned deer wood and metal.
He sets the weapons down. Okay, so we've got it turned on so we can see the reputation, like, listed, right? But it is funny to just straight up say, you realize that they're better equipped than you, right? Also, just because we want to make friends with them doesn't mean we will. We need them to get into the Animancy hearing. That's the only thing we promised. Yeah? I'm going to make a... It's just true. Yeah, but, like, put yourself in Slam Shadow's shoes where he's going to straight up snark the fuck out of them, right? You realize they're better equipped than you, right? You idiot. Hey chat, 1, 2, 3, or 4. 1, good luck to you. 2, they don't stand a chance. The dozens, slight positive, passionate. Hopefully you can avoid any conflict. Diplomatic. Or, you realize they're better equipped than you, right? The dozens, slight negative, but rational. Could be seeing the better equipped eyebrows. Loxy, don't fuck cops. Yeah, dead man. Yeah. Just put my own vote in there. Love it. Okay, we have 2 votes. Yeah, it's Capital 4. Who are the Knights again? The Crucible Knights? They are essentially people who are related in some way to nobles that did break off with the Imperial, right? And they're self-appointed cops. And they do keep the peace as well as actively keep the peace. They're also kind of eugenicists in that if you don't, you can't get to the how do we kill them all? Hilariously, they do it themselves. 4. Since when does that mean a damn thing? Our forefathers drove out the Aedirian military. Our founders vanquished the army of a so-called god. He nods at the men and women around the hall. We've got what it takes to beat him, if it comes to that. Speaking of the knights, his eyes dart back to you. I hear you had a run-in with a patrol at Stormwall Gorge. Nothing I couldn't handle. No, that's kind of aggressive. That means we're saying nothing I couldn't handle. I think I'd like to go with... I'm gonna go with they attacked me first. He looks you clear in the eye. Might be I sent him your way. Needed him to turn their attention away from the city for a while. Now I'll be doubling and tripling those patrols. There's a reckoning coming when those here and end. Folks have had it with the legacy. They've had it with soul butchers angering the gods. If the Duke won't stop them, it'll be the effigy if the good people of Deerwood don't see it themselves, and the dozens will lead the charge. If they're charging on Brackenbury Sanitarium, there's always the hope that they can stay there a while. The Knights with the Duke on this one. If he decides wrong, they'll be in our way. I'm just making preparations. A lopsided grin spreads across his face. I knew you'd do well. Don't hold it against me. Jeez. The Knight started out a lot like you. Why don't you don't turn into him? He snorts. You can be sure of that. I'm glad you guys agreed because I wanted to choose one. Slam Shadows is granted mob justice. What? He slaps you on the shoulder. Anyway, I owe you one. I want you to take me old warbow. It's a trusty piece, but I won't be sniping in the shadows when Defiance Bay has need of us. No hard feelings, I hope. If there's anything else I can do for you, just let me know. Good rep. Cloud piece added. Alright. What is mob justice? I think it's a trait. I'll open up the character sheet and show you in a moment. The bow is named Cloud Piecer. He claps on the shoulder. It'll be good to have you there when under our banner. Someone's got to convince the Duke to abandon this folly being Animancy. 1, 2, or 3. It's relatively important. I agree. Lie. I agree. And 3, the Duke will hear the truth about Animancy. Does it know that it's intentionally ambiguous? I assume so, right? Because if I was writing this, again, to take a step out, the game being only being able to respond to the input it's given, if I was writing this script, I'd straight up not include a third option if it wasn't functionally different to the first, right? Yeah. And 3's like, evasive. I think I'm going to go with 3. The Duke will hear the truth about Animancy. Well, and casually nods your way. And that's his generic. The Bronze Lake. Cool. Hey, good job, Maker. Tell him to touch up to 30. You can turn into a black mage now. Whoosh. In 12 minutes till break. Okay.
Pig? Hey, pig. Woo-hoo, pig. Look at him with his little tail.
That was adorable.
Hey.
Adair loves that pig. He loves that pig. I think I was saying, and 12 minutes till break, everyone. But I very actively forgot.
With the nose, how is it you failed to notice your rotten stench?
Failed to notice? Hardly. I put work into smelling this way.
I should have expected.
I never know what sort of game is downwind. I need to smell like part of nature, not an interloper.
Maker, thank you for reminding me. We had Durance to do a couple of quests. Specifically part of another quest that had Magrin involved. And we can drop him now.
Good day to you.
You
Boop.
walk your path, I'll walk mine.
And it's a good idea to have Sagani back, so thank you. If Palagina wasn't busy, we'd have her too. Not extremist paladin. She's not. Yeah, she's not great. That's for sure. Oh, excuse the NPCs having massive flaws they don't work on. Assassins. All right. This might as well happen. Right? I know it's not the most efficient spell. It's just very funny to start fights with fireballs on enemies. Aggressive, aggressive, aggressive. Go get him, Sagani.
My bow's ready. Can't get a good shot with this.
Get him! I'm not super sure what they expected to achieve there. Then again, assassins turning up out of nowhere do that in video games. We've got 2 notes. Here, were they quest items? Nope. Miscellaneous? Yeah, scrolled note. Written on this scrap of parchment is a concise but detailed description of you, including your name, your distinguishing features, and everyone you're known to have associated with in your brief time in Deerwood. That's interesting. Now, who could be trying to kill us, huh? Is it that person who explicitly said they're going to try and kill us? Sounds pretty reasonable to me. We're going to go upstairs. We have 9 minutes to break. We're going to talk to the hermit of Hadford House. We may have to pause in the middle of conversation, but hey, that's okay. Taking our favourite companions in.
How fares your search?
Let's start with 1, that's for sure. If I'm going to do this for you, I think it's time you told me everything about Theos.
I've told you everything you need to know.
But not everything.
It's only right that you know everything. When I was younger, before Dunreed Row, I had many suitors. These were fine-looking men of good stock. But I could see their thoughts, and they were unimpressive. Boys' thoughts. I toyed with their affections. I resented all of them.
Lady Webb looks down at her hands, lost in thought. Just shakes her head. A rattling sigh struggles to escape her throat.
And then I met a man whose mind was a mystery to me. But he understood me. He knew me at a glance. Told me things I didn't know about myself. He was neither handsome nor charming.
Junk!
He was all I ever wanted.
You're talking about Theos.
We made a game of my gift. He would ask me about people, and I would tell him what they were thinking. Sometimes the information was very sensitive. And then one day he asked me if I trusted him. I said I did. Next I knew I was donning a silver mask and swearing oaths to Woodica. Using my gift for the leaden key still felt like a game to me, so I did it. I did it because it pleased him.
Leaden key with fingers everywhere. But it didn't last.
I don't like living in the dark. It's a powerless, hopeless feeling. Every day I did things without knowing their purpose. Every day I loved a man without knowing his thoughts of me. I sensed that there were things he wanted to tell me. I sensed that he knew everything the leaden key was created to hide. But Theos was unyielding. One day I disappeared without a word. He would kill me for it, and I knew that. It's their rule. I just wanted to see him plunge the knife, because then I would know. But the day never came. He has left me to wonder. I have devoted my years to learning everything I could about him, in hopes I would find some clue as to who he really was, and why he felt he had to keep his secrets locked away. I have precious little to show for it. Just an old woman nagged by old thoughts.
She rubs at a smudge on her left palm.
And that is truly everything I can tell you about Theos. I hope you will accept this embarrassing story as a show of my good faith.
She looks back up at you. Well, turns out Theos got real close to Lady Webb. I want to discuss the Animancy hearings at the palace.
What of them?
The dozens have accepted me into their delegation.
Of all the groups, it is the dozens that the Duke fears most. If you have their ear, you will most certainly have Aevar's.
Let's go.
You need waste no more time here. Get to the palace. Make your case to the Duke. With him on our side, all of Deerwood can be mobilized against the Leaden Key, and Theos can be rooted out. I only wish I could be there to see it. There is a very old bottle of a very good brandy that I have been saving for a special day. If you hurry back afterward, there may be a little left for you. Off with you.
She smiles
You're going
thinly.
to do very well in there.
Hell yeah. Off we go. Let's go to the palace. Let's have a brief chat with the Duke about Animancy. And let's come back, have a nice drink of brandy, and celebrate, right? Easy. Have a pint at Dunreed Row. Oh, and wait for it all to blow over. Problem solved. Alright, let's go. First fires, 15-minute walk. Very suspicious. I mean, fair. Hendo, good to see you. Just in time for a break, right? Sorry about that. Screw the Crystal Knights. Pipe to Dunreed Row, Chester, and wait for it all to blow over. Rochester, God, why didn't I think about that? That's perfect. Up, 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 up. Alright, in we go. Let's do the thing, right? Now that the dozens like us even more. Hey, Sidley. Nothing new, okay. You let us in this room now? Hey, Justicia. A place has been reserved for you on the balcony, Slam Shadows. Go to the upper floor. The dozens are not gonna like you very shortly. We received word from Wayne that you will be attending, Slam Shadows. The balcony has been opened for you. This can only turn out well. Let's fucking go. Duke Aevar Wolfgren. The room below is animated amidst a heated debate. All of the representative groups are easily discerned in the crowd. Crucible Knights, stiff in their noisy armour, sit in one section. In another are well-dressed members of House Dominel, casual, watching with the Predator's interest. Aren't they dead? They should be dead, right? We'll deal with them soon. Still elsewhere are the ramshackle dozens who have made no special effort to dress up for their liege lord. Interspersed are animancers in their academics' robes with expressions either sour or concerned.
Well then, answer me this, Master Barash. If you Animancers represent our best hope to cure the legacy, what progress can you demonstrate?
I believe, O'Brien. Mako, have we killed all the House Dominel? We've killed all that we've found, that's for sure. At the back of the chamber sits the Duke, sprawled in his throne, worn down but alert and feisty nonetheless.
As I've said, it isn't about progress, it's about potential.
My house would agree, Your Grace. We see great potential in its future.
You're next, Durla Dominel.
And I suppose your blazing profits during the legacy don't have nothing to do with that, do they, Dominel? You can't have it both ways no more. Animancy goes, or this country goes.
So you admit, Master Barask, that Animancy is no closer to stopping the legacy than it ever was.
No, we've had many promising experiments. Cadman Azo has shown...
Cadman Azo murdered a child. For a complete failure. We should be hanging him right now for what he done. The dozens won't stand for it.
Yeah, but we know that Theos deliberately fucked that up.
There is no need.
Master Azo recently passed the Shroud, and while the experiment failed, his work...
His work was sabotaged.
Ah, our new delegate from the dozens. What makes you say sabotage?
All at once the attendees turn their faces towards you, a mishmash of judgment and incredulity. Only the Duke, a wild-looking man with a scraggly beard, seems unfazed by your interruptions. Hey! This is a good time for you to have a break and take a look at options 1 and 2. 1. I met a false patient in Brackenbury Sanitarium who tampered with Azos machinery. Or 2. Lie. A rival Animancer confessed it to me during an investigation I conducted there. You guys need to decide. False patient, truth. 2. Rival Animancer, lie. And I'm going to set us to a break, and I'll be back in 5 minutes, okay? Chat it over, we'll have a solution in just a moment. Well, welcome back, everybody. It was a quick 5-minute break, that's for sure. But, I don't want everyone to wait too long. Tonight, I made essentially what is a modified Vesper, which some people call like a martini with vodka. But I like it because this is using just Cinzano White, Blanco, of course, for that part of the martini. Just 10 mil. Sorry, 20 mil, because I use 60 mil of Braith, which is a spirit I infused myself, which is a vodka. Didn't make a nightmare chili cocktail. Not this time. Again, I have to stand up, have another drink of water, get to the kitchen, pull out my ingredients, make a drink, and then get back in 5 minutes. I don't have enough time to do a massive thing, though I could if I planned it better, and I don't. So I instead grabbed my bottle of Braith, which is a self-infused rosemary and lemon vodka, which was a very lovely spirit. I've got the balances very right. It's rosemary forward with an undercurrent of lemon, and here I wanted to mix it with a bit of vermouth, give it a stir under ice, and then pour it into a glass. We're garnished with a lemon slice. Garnish in the way you would an olive. Okay, the story there is when I saw Hamilton, Sydney with my lovely wife and Mako, we visited a cocktail bar after, and it was really nice. And I got something with chili and a red wine float, a chili margarita, I think it was. Very, very good. It is delish, Hendo. Hopefully at some point I'll be able to show you what Braith is as a rosemary forward. Yeah. Okay, so it turns out everyone voted for 1, really. Kibble did vote for 2 as well. And Meku stands by her decision of saying, hey, I wish we could just say they all sucked. I mean, they do. So I'm going to go with, I met a false patient in the Brackenbury Sanitarium who had tampered with Azzo's machinery.
The fuck's that even matter? These are people who would toy with the lives of our children.
That's fair, Meku.
Indeed. Even assuming there was sabotage, is this Animancer Azzo not still accountable here?
Here we have 5 different options, and many of them use our stats. Law, this is not the Bailey Reach incident. This is a responsible scientist who was manipulated. 1. 2, rational 2. Those who know me around here know me to be fair in judgment. Cademan Azzo should be held innocent. Or 2. Or 3, which is the same, except we're saying Cademan Azzo should be held guilty. And 4, no he isn't, this was a responsible scientist who was manipulated. And 5, yes he is. Cademan Azzo's ambitions exceeded his ethics. And you gotta vote quickly, guys. As soon as you have a decision, pop it in, because there'll be a lot of these. How does Slam Shadows feel about Animancy? Does Slam just want to continue telling the truth? 1 for Dead Man. Yeah, using our law, because we've got real high law to say, this is not the Bale Reach incident, this is a responsible scientist who was manipulated. And that is true. Two votes for 1, but with an okay of acceptable. And 1 is true. Let's do it. Aloth whispers between gritted teeth. What Azzo did to Graham was not the work of a responsible scientist. That's true.
Horseshit. These Animancers can't be trusted. Look at what happened in Heritage Hill. Our supposed protectors from Crucible Keep can't even clean up the messes Animancy leaves.
Again, not strictly Animancy. That was, again, the Leaden Key's fault. They're the ones sacrificing people.
Are you sure this is your delegate, Adric?
You won't be for long making claims like that.
I like that we've annoyed the dozens by telling the truth. That's pretty funny.
Your Grace, we'd have a much easier time of it if our knights weren't so occupied trying to keep their organization from igniting a revolution on our very doorstep.
Fuck off, cop.
Heritage Hill is blood on your hands, Justiciar. You turn a blind eye, and look what happens.
Okay, so, again, one or two. One, I've been to Heritage Hill since the quarantine. Though the knights were unable to control the damage, it was not Animancy, but an ancient machine that caused it. And two, the Crucible Knights are blameless here. This was not the workings of Animancy, but an ancient device in Tyr knoweth. Mega says one, give some blame, one, and Lucky says one, give some blame to the cops, and Hendo has one. Yeah, like, I agree. They didn't send anyone to go investigate it. They did send a squad, but they immediately got killed. Lots of votes for one, I'm calling it. I've been to Heritage Hill since the quarantine.
You've some strange taste in travels, Fred. The height of your tales expands with every breath.
We can't choose Might 16 or Resolve 18 as much as I'd like to, sadly. Instead, we've got Honest 2, my word is my oath. I challenge anyone here to find someone who knows different. Or Aggressive 2, ask around. When I see problems, I take matters into my own hands. Or 5, I ask only that you listen to what I have to say. Make your own judgment. 2, 3, or 4. Several votes for 3, which is pretty good. Remember, Slam Shadows keeps it real. He's honest. He's sassy, but honest. We got 1, 2, 3 votes of 3. That's pretty good. Let's go.
I had heard whispers of a new delegate set to attend today's hearing. I admit that your candor was mentioned more than once.
Thank you.
Tell us what you saw in Heritage Hill.
We only have one option. Tyr knoweth houses an Inquisition machine that holds dominion over the flow of souls. It was this machine that made the district undead.
Even if it is as you say, we have testimony that a group of Animancers had been spending time there. Surely their tinkering had something to do with this.
They were Animancers there. They're the ones... Oh, remember the one at the top who was trying to fix the problem? And gave in to his flesh thirst and we had to put him down. So, 4 options. 1, Intellect 16. Their presence doesn't prove cause. This testimony is not evidence, it is a guess. 2, I have reason to believe there were others at the tower who might have done this. And 3, there is no denying that they were studying dangerous machineries they did not understand. And 4, Perception 15. They followed ambition blindly, taking few precautions and allowing personal feelings to get in the way of solving the problem. We got 1, 2, 4 votes for 1. Lovely, let's do that straight up. Let's use our massive thinky brain.
Animancy has many enemies. You need only look around this room to see it.
Thank you, Animancer.
You're missing the point. Everywhere there's Animancers, there's disaster.
And every disaster so far has involved a leaden key.
We all know what Widewind's legacy's really about. And it ain't about some sparkling saint from Creed Ceres who's mad because he took a stroll down the wrong bridge. It's about a bunch of so-called intellectuals fucking with the natural order while the rest of us gotta suffer for it.
We do... the natural order. Doesn't sound good, generally.
Is it, though? Should we not take the time to reach a clear conclusion? I mean, what proof do we have?
Shut up, Tobinell. You're profiteering off birth control.
My son and daughter are buried beneath the floor of my house. We don't own no land, so that's where we lay them. My son, my wife let him slip when she was bathing. Got water in his lungs, he couldn't cough up. My daughter, we put her to bed one night, and the next morning she wasn't breathing. This Hollowborn thing, it ain't ending. And it ain't ending because we still let these charlatans play God. There's your proof, you damn copper fucker.
And I mean, that sucks, Airdrek. Absolutely. Hold on, let me just release this message from Loxy because it's very appropriate. You're right, Dominel, but also shut up and die. Yeah, I agree. It's shit, but not the fault of Animancy. We know whose fault it is. It's the leaden key. We delve into the soul of someone who sacrificed their life to keep the Hollowborn crisis happening in Deerford. Right?
Enough, Adric. Lady Dominel makes a point. If it's Animancy, then why do the other states that permit the practice not suffer the same fate? Who among us can say he truly understands why the legacy has taken hold here?
Who among us can say he truly understands why the legacy has taken hold here? Mako, you're right. It's just that you have to prove the Leaden Key exists. Grieving Mother. The Grieving Mother reaches towards your mind with hers. Bring order to the chaos here. I can. The crowd begins to mutter, the sound taking a doubtful character. Widewin's legacy is a creation of the Leaden Key. Caedmon Azo's downfall was their work, as was the tower in Heritage Hill. They want you to do this. They want Animancy to fall. A dull muttering expands into a din of skepticism that fills the hall. I've seen him in the ruins of Glanfath, operating machines that disrupt and redirect the flow of souls, near towns like Gilded Vale and Deerford, where the legacy is universal. As a watcher, I've heard their dead confess the plot. They are stealing the souls of the unborn.
Beasts. Another lunatic at the hearing. Did you remember to lock your sanitarium before you left, Master Barask?
The room laughs. We have 7 options. 1. Please, I only want to help Deerwood. Benevolent. 2. You want to see crazy? Make one more smart comment just like that. Passionate. 3. Birth invalids your... 3. Birth invalids until your womb dries for all I care. The rest of these people will hear the truth. 3. Cruel. 4. You shame your order by dismissing the truth before hearing it, madam. I expected better from a knight of the Crucible. Diplomatic. 5. If he did, for your husband's sake, I hope he has at least left a brothel unlocked. Clever. 6. If, as the Duke says, no theory has more proof than any other, what's the harm in hearing one more? Rational. 7. Your quips cannot change the truth. We got a vote for 2. Kibbled also votes for 3. We got 6 or 7, 4 or 6. 1 or 2 okay, but 6 or 7 preference for Larksea. Ranked choice voting. God. This is why some people have extensions that count votes for you. That'd be really good. Hendo says 4. That's pretty good too. You know, shame your order by dismissing the truth before hearing it, madam. They are shits. But are they shits with honor? Can you count on that? Need to be a mod, but there's a wager thing. Yeah, if you set up stream points, which is something I also haven't done, because I'm using an open OBS tool instead of a Twitch branded one. But thinking about moving over, the issue with the profiles that I had today is actually making me consider doing it. But it again seems less customizable, more let Twitch handle the decision making. And I don't hate it, but if I settle down with a few hours, I'll figure it out. Usually I'm spending that time doing my own stuff. Okay. Not 3, not 5. 2 or 3. 6 or 7. 4 or 6. 4. It's both diplomacy and sassy. I can see a couple of votes for 6 or 7, and maybe 4. I am going to cast a vote at 6. Okay? If, as the Duke says, no theory has more proof than any other, what's the harm in hearing one more?
You must know, friend, that the Leaden Key is a mantle for small-time ruffians and children at play. I'm not saying you're a liar. Not yet. But you'd better start making sense of all this. Help us believe you.
The Duke leans forward in his throne, a trace of curiosity in his eyes. We got a lot more, another 5 options, a lot of them are long. So take a look at these. 1. What's more likely, that the gods are destroying Deerwood for a science practiced in many parts of the world, or that a group of people hate Animancy and wants it suppressed? Rational. 2. The leaden key is very real. Our foreigners from Aevar and Raid Ceres who hate Deerwood and want to see us suffer. Deceptive. 3. Let's say a lord is cuckolded by his wife. If he tells her to stop, she'll only want her lover more. But if he spreads a rumor that her lover has just visited a brothel and bore quite a pox on his loins, she'll end it on her own. Clever. 4. We all want the same thing here. We want Widewind's legacy to end. If we work together instead of arguing, we can stop the people who are doing this. Diplomatic. Or 5. Honest. 3. If you know anything about me, you know this. I have been called many things, but never a liar. An honest witness is the best piece of evidence you have in this matter. That's what some cleverness is. And especially in this interpretation. It's not always nice. In fact, oftentimes being clever and witty is putting someone down. I like 5, but also 1. Can't read everything yet. Go with 5. Also got 1. Another vote for 5. It looks like we got 2 votes for 5 and 1 vote for 1. Hendo also appreciates 5, so 2, potentially 3. I think we're going to go with 5. Honest 3. If you know anything about me, you know this. I've been called many things, but never a liar. An honest witness is the best piece of evidence you have in this matter.
The only piece of evidence.
So the Animancer.
The only piece of evidence that doesn't send your kind to the gallows, you mean?
You've made an unexpected case, friend. I'll say that much. It seems we have a new possibility to consider, at the very least. How was it you came to learn all this?
1 or 2? 1. The martyrs of the dozen supported my search for answers. Or 2. I took personal interest in the matter and tried to learn what I could. As Luxie says, 1 is going to piss him off even more. I agree, and I think that's really funny. Fuck him, right? Imagine, sure, the dozens will hate that, but so what? It's even tossing him under the bus is at least a little funny. I find that pretty funny. Hendo and Kibble vote for 2. Gotta piss him off, so we should vote 2. No. True, 2 is true. It's absolutely true. We just staked a lot of things on our honesty, didn't we? Could that backfire on us? It doesn't say deceptive. Who knows? Can't see why I like playing with the markers on the signposts. Got a couple of votes for 2. Maybe a half vote for 2 for Luxie. Unless someone speaks up really soon, I'm going to pick number 2. Beep. I took a personal interest in the matter and tried to learn what I could.
Indeed. This land is foreign to you, unless I miss my guess. Your efforts on its behalf are to be commended.
Thanks, Kibble. Very funny. As soon as I've hit the button. The Duke raises his eyebrows.
But these hearings are about more than Widewind's legacy, even though that is our most pressing concern. Let's say for the moment that I were to take you at your word that our friends in Brackenberry Sanitarium and their peers bear no responsibility for this curse upon my country. I'm curious, what would you do if you were in my position?
5 options. 1. I would allow Animancers to continue their work. They explore questions we all wish to understand. If we'd known more, perhaps this crisis could have been averted. 2. Animancers should be studied in the Deerwood. If you don't, someone else will, and they will wield great power over you. 3. The Animancers of Deerwood have been given too long a leash. The practice should be restricted and controlled. 4. In truth, I'm not completely confident Animancy doesn't have something to do with Waylwin's legacy. It would be wise to ban the practice, at least for now. And five, Animancy is too dangerous. We were not meant to use it, and we've proven why we are unworthy of it. It should be outlawed. I don't like giving no blame to the Animancers. Yeah, I agree. You know, they were doing fucked up shit, as Mako said. It's not a good thing to give them unrestricted access to do what they want. It's a bit authoritarian, indeed, to restrict it and control it, but it's dangerous. Legislation for people's safety is not terrible. You want 2.5, says Loxy. Yeah, me too. I think I'm going to go with 3, reading the whims of the chat. We don't have a lot of votes yet, so I'm going to give us another, 30 seconds. No, a full minute, okay? What are we choosing? Leave my mouse off. 3 with proper controls, says Hendo. Yeah. I remember the game won't let us, like a 4X simulation, decide exactly which way we're going to go. I think Kibble's first one was in response to, as soon as we'd made the vote, hit 1 to throw the dozens under the bus, which is exceptionally funny. I want to congratulate her for that hilarious joke. It's okay, I still think you're cool. This is a tough one, everybody. I can see 2 votes for 3, 1 vote for 1. How does Slam feel about Animancy? Remember, I want to reiterate the point that this is a video game, and while we try to engage ourselves with it so that we enjoy the game to its fullest extent, we're not bad people. Right? We're not bad people for picking even straight up 5. You know? And in the end, if we do hate it, if something terrible happens, we can always load a game and sort it out. You know, we put ourselves in Slam Shadow's shoes so that we personally don't have to make the decisions. We can say, yeah, Slam is like, I don't know, I'm a watcher and I hang out with a Cypher all the time. And Animancy ain't that bad. They helped soulmates get together. So, I think I'm going to choose 3. Which I wish was 2 with a better decision, right? Okay. I'm doing it. I'm gonna do it. Boop. And just who would regulate it? Charlatans like Aevar, or fools like Aevar, clueless as to what goes on within their own walls? Yeah, good point, Aloth. No matter what we chose, one of our companions would tell us off for it.
Very well. That is all I wish to hear. Not just from you, but from everyone. Many days we've been at this. It is time we put it to rest. I want to thank the delegations for helping me to collect my thoughts. In particular, I want to thank our new delegate, who has given me much to think about, and who alerted me to a new enemy I had failed to see.
He believes us about the Leaden Key. Defiance Bay, extraordinary positive.
The time has come to choose a direction for the Deerwood. I am ready to make my pronouncement.
End dialogue.
Ramir D. Barash, representing the interests of Animancers in Deerwood, step forward.
Your Grace.
Oh, fuck.
It occurs to me now that my concerns about Animancy may not outweigh its value.
Forgive me, Your Grace. We will accept no judgment but our own.
What's he doing?
You probably know who it is already.
No! Avenge the Doom!
No, wait!
Stop this at once!
I've given you every chance to end this pursuit. Shall I end it for you? Another time. I am already late.
And we pass out. The words, "Shall I end it for you?" ring in your ears. You find yourself gasping for breath, struggling to keep your own balance. You drop to a knee and watch as Theos hurries out of the building. The world dims around you, the screams and clashing of weapons fading to silence. All that remains are the words.
Shall I end it for you?
Theos stands at a pulpit high above an assembly of robed onlookers, you among them, clustered around a wide circular pit carved of stone. He addresses a woman bound backwards over a large iron wheel overlooking the great stone moor. Many of the woman's fingers and toes are severed, and the bottoms of her feet are charred black. The skin on one side of her face looks like melted candle wax, black and red and seeping, and the angle of her back suggests a spine in ruins. Yet for all that, her expression betrays little of her anguish.
I am already at peace, Grand Inquisitor. Are you?
Her eyes are barely open, and her words come between strangled breaths, but they are steady, unbroken.
So be it. If you desire no end, you shall have none. I find you guilty of heresy. May the eternal prison bar your soul from passage, for it is beyond redemption.
He nods to a hooded attendant who begins untying her from the wheel. Slime Shadows was granted Dominion of the Sleepers. You open your eyes to the beam ceiling of the palace's grand entry hall. The clangs of metal striking metal waft in from outside alongside the cries of the injured as you stagger to your feet. Theos is gone. Grieving Mother. The Grieving Mother hovers over you with wide, fearful eyes. We are surrounded by spirits of rage and fear. We must flee. Off to one side you can hear the clinking rustle of chainmail, and you look over to see a wounded guard slumped against the wall. He's trying to say something, seemingly directed at you, but at first it is too faint to hear. He gathers his breath and manages to rasp out a few words. Lady Webb, she's here in me. She must be told. She'll know what to do. Please, find her. Tell her everything. The guard passes out and slides to the floor. Still.
If secrets whisper here, I shall listen for them.
Abilities. Talents. Mob Justice. Grants Mob Justice. Passive. 5 accuracy when attacking the same target as an ally. Dozens know how to deal with our enemies. Gang up at them until you've with everyone you've got. Now you know too. A lot of those are class abilities. We also got Dominion of the Sleepers. Once per rest, you get +2 might, +2 con, +2 dex, +2 perception, +2 intellect, +2 resolve. The Watcher peers into the sleeping memories of previous lives, drawing upon their power to enhance all of his or her attributes. Just use they, man. Come on. Yikes. What are you still doing here? I was going to steal from you. Alright, fine. Kibbled says kinky to the lady bound to the wheel. Bit intense, I'd say. What with the severing of digits? Oh shit, this place is on fire. What are you doing? I don't want to talk to us? Alright. Mercenary, you okay down there? Sure, fine. Commoner Animancy says, seen him at the sanitarium. Okay, we're just gonna wander past. Because there's nothing we can do, sorry. Justicia's holding dozens martyr. These lot are in league with the Animancers. Take that, Justicia. Alright. That's not going to turn out particularly well. Justicia killed commoner. Maybe. And sadly, when it starts combat, you can intervene, but there's no actual response. So we're just going to run past. It didn't give us a map to say where we're going. We just immediately headed here. We have to go to Hadred House. Also, look. It burned down the entire sanitarium. Go. Run before they see you. There's a dozen's martyr telling Animancers to run. Mob justice indeed. Look, the Crucible Knights, if they when they responded to this crisis, they just fucking kill everyone. You know that. Let's loot a couple of corpses. No one sees us stealing now. Not quite as nice to loot corpses and get some money off them, huh? Everyone inside Hadred House is gone. Not only burning down buildings. We just said they should be fine with some oversight. They'll be okay. And then nope. With everyone dead, do you think she'll be okay? How's Lady Webb gonna be? Very sad. Looting corpses is only fun if you kill them first, says Gibald. Yeah, well, that makes sense. That's why we're stealing things from chests as well. Right of Ancient Legends, don't mind if I do. I will freely admit I do feel bad that we're just looting these corpses for no reason. We don't even need the money, but it's the most video gamey things. Lady Webb. Lady Webb lies still in her bed, an ornate cushion propping her back upright. The blood pooled beneath a gash in her chest is tacky and nearly dry. A shattered glass rests on the floor beneath her dangling hand. You feel the faint aura of her fading essence and you can reach out for it. You make contact and are immersed in a torrent of sensory input and experience. When it calms, you find yourself in the same room, lying in a bed with a glass of brandy in your hand. Through the walls, from the streets outside, come the sounds of screams and shattering glass and the cacophony of an angry mob. You take a sip and it warms your gullet. Across the room, the door opens behind a patient, steady push. Into the room walks Theos, the floorboards creaking beneath deliberate steps. You wait until the last of the brandy is trickled down your throat before you speak.
I was a fool to think I could tame these people.
Don't tame people.
You came closer than most.
A fine epitaph.
No worse than any.
You are concentrating, focusing with all of your energy. It feels as though you are diving into a stone wall over and over, but it cracks suddenly, unexpectedly, allowing the vaguest wisp of a thought to leak through.
What's in Twin Elms?
Did you pull that from my thoughts?
She wins in the end.
I've had time to practice.
Ah.
He walks over to a small table and raises a half-empty brandy bottle to eye level. He seems to approve of the selection and begins to reach for an empty glass. Hey, that's ours!
I was saving that for someone.
Sweet.
Pity. You know this is how it has to be.
He replaces the brandy bottle on the table with care before approaching the bedside. He sits on the edge of the bed next to you. His words come freely, absent of all doubt. He draws a long, curved knife from his belt, smeared with fresh blood. With his left hand he gently pins your sternum as he raises the knife in the other, its point dangling above your heart.
Prove it.
Thales slips the knife between your ribs and pushes it through. Layers of tissue separate with brittle, papery stiffness, and blood wells up around the blade. A pulse of reflex causes you to drop your glass to the floor, and you hear it shatter. With the last of your strength, you take his knife hand in both of yours, a question radiant in your mind. For an instant, to your great surprise, the pathway to his mind is left open to you, unguarded, and the answer comes, simple, cataclysmic in its reordering of your thoughts. As Lady Webb, you feel as though you have an answer you've searched for all your life, but in your own mind, her understanding lies just beyond your reach. You look at Theos with the wide eyes of someone seeing for the first time, and draw your last breath as black, velvety darkness descends over you.
Smoke rises above the city walls in billowing plumes that blacken the sky like a storm. Behind the walls, the riots rage on. Known patrons of Animancy are forced into hiding as looters ransack their estates and make off with their possessions. Animancers are torn away from their families and dragged from their homes to be stoned to death in the streets. Word had spread immediately that Duke Aevar had been assassinated, and that an Animancer was to blame. The city wasted little time in exacting revenge, and little effort into evaluating guilt. In the center of it all, Brackenbury Sanitarium burned. And down the lane, Hodred House, the last bastion of stability in the Deerwood, had fallen silent. Now safely outside the city gate, your path points eastward to Twin Elms, where Theos is bound, for reasons that remain mysterious as the leaden key itself.
The end of part 2. So I guess I'm never coming back here? You can freely return to the city. The floods have receded. This pass through Stormwall Gorge is open. You truly can return to Defiance Bay. I have nothing against it. You can't visit Brackenbury anymore. They do lock off that zone. Aloth. As you cross the bridge, Aloth draws up beside you. The fires of Defiance Bay cast a shivering, flickering light across one half of his face. The other is in darkness.
Please stop. I need to tell you something.
Don't tell me you've got another personality tucked away in there. He smells weakly. Would that were it.
I have not been entirely honest about my motives for traveling with you up to this point. When I finished my training in Aevar, I was introduced to an organization. All I knew was that they were opposed to the unchecked spread of Animancy, and that they could guarantee me postings far away from the Seathwood my father and his Earl. At that time, it was enough.
Laxy's worked it out.
In the early years, I thought of them as many things. Hooded men, prudent teachers, the leaden key. Their rules were strict, but their guidance was clear. I sincerely believe they wanted to keep Kith from the folly of their own foolish ambitions. I came to the Deerwood a little over a year ago. My orders were to gather information on Animancy in the region.
He looks down.
A senior contact met with me every few months to receive my reports and issue new leads. She sent me to Gilded Vale to keep an eye on events surrounding the local lord, but I lost track of her shortly after that. I don't know if she was reassigned, killed, or sacrificed the way you saw. At the time you met me, I'd been on my own for a couple of months.
3 options. 1, what did you want from me? 2, and you thought I'd make an easy target. Aggressive. And 3, you knew I was coming. You have 30 seconds. Please cast your vote. Everyone in the VOD, I sincerely hope you agree with what chat chooses to do here. I'm not going to interfere. Well, actually, I'm definitely going to interfere, but I will temper it. I'm not going to give information. Two votes for 1. 1 vote for 3. So now it's... Well, Luxy, you're choosing 1 or 3. You're the tiebreaker. Time's nearly up. Extrovert for 1. Sorry, dead man. What did you want from me?
I needed some kind of direction. After that scrape with the locals, I was ready to get out of town. But then you mentioned the hooded figures in the machine, and I was sure you were on the trail of the leaden key. And I was correct in a way. What we found wasn't what I expected. I knew the leaden key was trying to stop Animancy, but I didn't realize how far they'd gone. Murder, sabotage, abandoning entire districts to shambling horrors. Now the whole city is up in flames.
He takes a deep breath.
I'm still not sure about Animancy, but I know I've been following the wrong master. Please, accept my apology, and my service. Let me fight with you to stop Theos.
5 choices. 1. Apology accepted. 2. As long as you don't forget who's in charge, I'm keeping a close eye on you from now on. 3. I forgive you, Aloth, but I want you beside me, not behind me. I'm not asking you to trade one master for another. 4. I'm finished with you. You've been working for the very people who are trying to kill me, and now you think I'll keep you around? You're even crazier than I thought. And 5. Get out of my sight. If I ever see you again, I'll kill you. Aggressive. This is a big decision. I'll give you like a minute and a bit from here. Make your decision, chat. What are we going to say to Aloth, the Leaden Key agent, who's been with us from the very beginning? Well, not the very beginning, since Gilded Vale. Before Aevar. And we love Aevar. He's so sweet and slightly racist in very, very dumb ways. We peered into his soul. Isilmir gazed back. We got 3 votes for 3. Doesn't mean you can't change your vote or turn it around. We like Aloth. I like Aloth too. Four votes for 3. That's over majority. I forgive you, Aloth, but I want you beside me, not behind me. I'm not asking you to trade one master for another.
That would be an honor.
His voice is solemn and quiet. Before we move on, I'd like to discuss a few things. Aloth looks at you with quiet attentiveness. How may I be of service? How exactly did you come to join the Leaden Key? As it often is with such follies, I was young and directionless. The Leaden Key promised some of the structure I was lacking, and they offered me a future far removed from service to my father's Earl. Animancy is possibly even more controversial in Aevar than it is here. The practice has been outlawed for 600 years, but prohibition is a way of breeding curiosity. The success and relative acceptance that Animancy is found here and in the Valian Republic spurred a renewed interest in Aevar. The Leaden Key began recruiting more aggressively, and I was in the final period of my training when one of my instructors reached out to me. He shrugs. As I said, it was a welcome departure from my father's plans, and after seeing a few of my colleagues abandon their studies in magic to pursue Animancy in the Republics, I was convinced that something needed to be done to stop the spread. Aloth looks at you with quiet attentiveness. How may I be of service? That's all. We'll talk more to our companions sometime soon, just not right now. So, chat, I'm very pleased with you. Thank you for not choosing fuck you, Aloth, go away. One of the last 2 options. Very pleased with you indeed. Because much like the pool of blood where you sacrifice an NPC to it, I don't think I could get gold stars for chat. Exactly, Larksy. And I will voice act your beautiful, naughty, wicked Zoot. I mean Aloth. He has been a very naughty boy indeed. I don't think I could go through with a game where we tell him to fuck off. And not just because he straight up says, alright, fine, and then leaves, right? But because of what happens when he does leave. You only find out at the very end of the game, because much like many other very good BioWare games, at the very end of the game, then I shouldn't have made an option. Mecca, I was going to let chat vote, and then say I don't think I can continue and I'll explain why, and I wouldn't have it as a surprise now. Okay? I wouldn't have just like ended the stream. That'd suck. I was also pretty confident that chat likes Aloth, so we'd be okay. At the end of the game, you get slides for all of the characters. All of their companions. They tell you a bit about the choices and what they get up to afterwards. Brilliant. Happens in a lot of Obsidian and Black Isle games. Very good. Love it. Right? If you tell Aloth to go away, rather I don't do it in future. If it's the choice you can't deal with, don't make us vote. Okay, sure. I'm happy to hear that out. I'll talk to this Leaden Key Wizard in a minute. If we tell Aloth to go away, he does. He disappears. He doesn't come back. He doesn't start fires. You never see him again until the ending slide, where you learn that he walked to the nearest Engwithan machine and sacrifices himself to it. Because directionless and unable to cope with the bad decisions he's made as a Leaden Key agent, he cannot cope with the decision of being completely directionless. And that's just straight up too sad. Sorry, everyone. I cannot handle that. He's a sweet, if kind of foolish at times person. And also, that's like kind of continuing the Hollowborn crisis at least a little bit, right? I can't do it. That's all. But again, I like that the game has choices like that. Ones that I could never take. I like that they're included. Big games that allow lots of choices that seem to matter. I appreciate it when a game or a tabletop or an adventure path has something that you're like, wow, I could never do that, no thanks. Because I know there are other players who are like, yeah, it's a game. I can set up this wall to say this is not real and just go with it, and therefore do things I could never do in real life. And see what a writer would come up with. Fascinating. So, Leaden Key Wizard. Well, well, well. A woman in robes, flanked by an armed group, savors every word before whispering the next. Finally. You should have remained in Defiance Bay. She draws a smile, pale and full, that droops below her recessed chin. But I'm glad you didn't have a better sense. I've looked forward to this since you got in our way. Any last words? After all that effort, you must indeed be ashamed to end it quickly. Give me a heads up you consider overruling chat without providing full details until afterwards. Yeah, okay, I like that. I think that's a good middle ground. I will speak to Mako, perhaps after the stream as well, see if it suits everyone. Because, you know, there are some choices that are straight up bad, you know. And as often as I just said very recently, I don't like it when the game surprises you. You think you're doing a good thing and it turns out terribly at the very end. I don't like that surprise, and I don't want that surprise to happen to you lot. Like if I straight up said, if it was written in that we forgive Aloth and then he tries to kill us in our sleep, we'd all feel stupid. We'd all feel bad, and that wouldn't be a fun experience to go through. And I'd warn us. You know? Anyway, I'll make this one. This weird thing is, like, this Leaden Key Wizard is straight up. We're keeping Aloth at which of these options? Yeah, that's pretty good too. It's funny that these options here, this Leaden Key Wizard is like, my enemy, my nemesis. Let's have it out. Any last words? She's not even named, right? Can't be that important. What are we gonna do? Walk away before you get hurt. You've got a noble heart. The woman wets her lips. I'm gonna enjoy seeing it burn. Time to end this. I don't know why you're so obsessed with me. Alice, do you want to let off some steam? Weakened and terrified. Sagani. Oh, you got AI. I want to unload some massive spells, right? Let's get a little frustration out. Psychic Howl. I want you to pull the wizard into melee combat. And slam to shoot the fighter.
Seals. Me too.
My mind feels sharp as steel. I shall end this.
Hey.
What? Oh, our nemesis, our ancient enemies. They've been waiting so long to fight us. Ooh, +3 might. And again, we're not playing it easy right now. Moss is taking root in the damp stone.
My thoughts will be as silent as my feet.
Whoa, Stelgar. Lots of them too. Let's do the ringleader style charm. Come on. Dominated a couple, that's not bad. Pushback and freeze damage.
Hey.
Boom, mic drop. Well, yeah, it's like, that wasn't that dangerous. The Lidden Key should feel bad for sending people up to die. Presumably they're cultists and like, yeah, we're all for it. We're going to straight up do that. We're happy to sacrifice ourselves to have a chance at annoying the Great Slam Shadows.
Can't get a good shot of this.
More Stelgars.
My mind feels sharp as steel.
That's it.
Bonk.
I shall end this.
Lavaru, be on seek.
Ron,
Lovely. Using all our spells, but we like to
Seals.
rest.
Me too.
Oh, what's that? Dead Adventurer. Small horn helm. Okay. Remember this map had a lot of blank space? We're filling it in. We just like exploring maps. This is what the game is there for. Ooh, a cave. Ooh. Oh my. Nearly finished a lovely drink. Spoilings! Oh no!
Lavaru, be on seek.
De-stealth, friendos.
Leave it to me. Lavaru, be on.
oh, almost had it. Let me try again.
I shall be discreet.
Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. A troll.
Lavaru, be on seek.
Another troll up there. I don't know how you're going to demand a contactless cocktail delivery. I think you'll just have to get a regular one. We're still in lockdown though, that counts. That Menburger didn't last very long. Steal this troll.
My mind feels sharp as steel.
Elif has discovered something. This is a terrible spot for you.
Shed no blood.
Opens up a secret door with a secret thing behind it. Dungeon, dungeon, dungeon. Souls bound in eternity. These bones are partially corroded. They're coated with thick slime. Souls bound in eternity.
Leave
Souls
it to me.
bound in pillars of eternity?
Lava rule, be on seek.
Get on!
What do you suppose that bally thing is?
Talisman of the Unconquerable. Intellect while endurance above 50%. Focus gain while endurance above 50%. Good. Focus is a cipher ability, and sadly, since Grieving Mother stands in the middle of combat, often she's below 50% endurance.
Time to see and not be seen.
Weird that there's, like, stuff to loot in here, but not much else, huh? I don't know if I've ever made bendy bones myself, but that's... I do remember hearing about the experiment, so it's pretty neat. Lockdown still justifies cocktail deliveries, of course, but, like, from someone who's nearby and already doing delivery, not everyone just because you need to pick me up. And there was indeed a purple hidden thingy. When we pressed it, it opened a secret area, and that gave us a magical shiny cloak. I promise I did not forget. Moss has taken root in the damp stone. Doria Hendo, I did not forget, we poked the purple shiny hidden thing, and unlocked a secret area. Dank Spore, my favorite.
Lava rule, be on seek.
Shed no blood.
Swamp slime, swamp spores.
That's it.
My mind feels sharp as steel.
Just like to make sure you're heard.
That's it.
Aleph, what are you doing? Why did you run up into Malay? Why are you casting an AoE spell that wouldn't help at all? Move here. And cast this.
Doing the job.
Object where the rock.
Excellent. What's this? A lizard scurries under the rock. Hell yeah. Hey, look at these things we missed just by not walking close enough to the wall.
Get on!
Disease pudding! That sounds like fun. Fall unconscious puddings. This'll totally work. Mind affecting spells work on puddings, right? Hervius is confused. Tentacles, please, Aloth. Hey. Hey there, why are you using a ranged weapon, buddy?
Leave it to me.
Lava rule, be on seek.
Got an arrow for this.
Hey.
Topaz in the use, very nice. Moss has taken root in the damp stone. Look, the lewd jokes should write themselves. If I was a wizard and I had the ability to cast tentacles that I could control with my mind and I didn't use them for lewdness, I'd be very sad. Hey, Dare, he wants to talk to
What
me.
you want about Dear Woodens? They haven't met the problem yet they couldn't solve by killing some scapegoats.
You fight for people because you see something there that deserves defending. Even more so because someone you trust sees it too. And you turn around, they do something like this, and the person that made you want to help them is gone. They're doing what they think the gods wanted them. It's nice that they mean well, but how can organized murder be their best guess? Although, come to think of it, maybe they're just following Waidwin's example. He was purging his own long before Deerwood got the idea. Only he was purging because they weren't Aethosian enough. Never thought I'd find myself missing hospitality back home. Elmshore. Your party is considered high level for the content in Elmshore. If you would like to, the critical path can be increased in difficulty to give you more of a challenge. The rewards you receive will be the same regardless of the option you choose. Your choice cannot be changed once it is selected. Standard. Sorry, I'm a coward. I don't want to play high challenge. That sounds bad. No thanks. Woodland Trails construction complete. Yay! Lord Bringar, a cruel ruler from the north, has arrived at the stronghold. He hopes to get an audience with you concerning a local rebellion. Well, in 7 days, we'll go back and visit the bad visitor. Okay? Promise. In the meantime, Cadnilla is looking pretty close. Let's go improve the towers.
Audra Arch, dead ahead.
Laying low.
Audra Arch. The one on the left was make it harder, and the one on the right was just do it as it's written. And I chose just do it as written. Please make it easy on me. Unless I'm pretty sure that's the case. Make the area harder. Because otherwise, like, we'll find out now how much more difficult this place is. We have no spells. Fuck, that's a lot of ogres. What's that ringleader? Unless let's make them all raw damage and interrupt, huh? Do it, do it, do it. Are they all knocked down? They are! Lovely. Come on, come on, come on. Heravius just got knocked straight down. More bounding missiles, please. A slam. Restore endurance and deal some damage to enemies, huh? You're still knocked down, alright. When you're ready, when you get up, okay? Oof. Look, I hoped I chose make it easy on me. But this first fight we walked straight into makes me think maybe we didn't.
Your thoughts must flow deeply indeed. Shed no blood.
Come on, Grieving Mother, you can do it.
Just a few scratches.
The huntress's strength wanes.
Alright. Can I with aid of save? Yeah, probably. We may have to, too. Aloth is doing his best, but still. Sorry, Adair, not Aloth. Oof. Down we go. Do we need to bonk you back to the horny zone there, Loxy? Death by orgy. Okay, so there's an autosave here. The difference is 4 minutes worth of Stormwall Gorge. Let's just make sure I click the right one, huh? Huh? I loaded the old save just because maybe I chose the wrong one. It wasn't too long to kill everything. Oh, cool. It was when we left. That's not too bad. Let's go. Just a few oozes to deal with on the way past.
Say what you want about.
Talk to it there. Cool. Let's go. Look, maybe I need to take better attention about what what button I'm clicking, right? I walked through 2 groups of them, so now we're fighting both at once. That could be quite bad. If we had Durance right now, I would straight up be saying, okay, let's get the immunity to confuse condition on all our people, huh?
Can't get a good shot.
Fuck, we may be loading our save anyway with Grieving Mother down. Yep, that was very silly of me. Whoops. Maybe at the point where you can't just YOLO through combat even on medium. And I need to look at gear.
Of course.
And optimization.
Say what you want.
Another dirty words. Everyone, please. Alright, let's go. We got this. We got the might bonus for resting.
I shall be discreet. Quickly and quietly. How may I shall.
Get him, Alice. Ignore poor confused Adair.
I wish you...
Ignore poor confused Aloth. Deal some freeze and crush damage.
That's not very helpful.
Jeez, look at all those confuses going off. Grieving Mother's down. I know, she got back up. That's a plus. Jeez, I don't know how she got back up, but not terrible. Detonate.
Shed no blood.
Aloth tentacles, please. Actually, I don't know if we need that.
Let's go! It's Maru!
Come on.
Me too. Let's
Mind blades.
useless.
Optimization. Yeah. A much less fun O word than some of the others I'm thinking of.
Let's
Adair, would you use your pistol slam? Good.
Can't get a good shot with this.
got him.
After him, Itamok.
This Swamp Spore's confusion is really doing us in.
Let's go.
They got Sagani.
Sagani's down now.
Hey.
Use your sword shield. Hopefully knock it down. Okay, that was good.
Through me.
Let's go.
Come on, Slam. Deal with the spore.
Let's go.
Me too. You're not.
Use your sword. Come on. All our characters are confused. Adair, do you mind? Use your pistol. This is almost embarrassing.
Wrong side. Let's go!
Whew.
Hey.
That was a tough one, wasn't it? Everyone's very wounded. Let's just take a nap. Slime shadows. Half asleep, a tide of deafening whispers assails you, chipping away your senses and your mind's understanding of itself. Their roar is louder with each passing night, their attacks more brazen, less confined to your subconscious. A familiar voice fights its way through the din, calling out to you.
Hey, hey!
A dead.
You gotta stop it with that. I just about punched you to snap you out of it. You're saying things, but they weren't any words I ever heard. You were shaking so hard I thought you'd crack your spine.
Adair rolls his eyes, relieved to see you looking back at him. He shakes his head. What happened to the bucket of cold water? Things haven't improved. My mind may be going. I think 3 is really good. What would I do without a friend to punch me?
Well, it's nice to feel needed. I'd have woke you sooner, but I thought it'd be nice for you to be able to close your eyes a bit. Folks don't last long without sleep.
Adair twitches his eyebrows.
You're twitchy these days. Reminds me of Mayorwald more than I like. Anything I can do, you just let me know. We're close on this one. Hang on a little longer. We'll get you fixed up.
The longer we wait, no rest for the Watcher, the worse it gets. Somar the Shackler, a slaver from Raid Ceres, has arrived at your keep, seeking some counsel on some business matters. I'm gonna kill you, buddy. That's what we do with slavers. We kill them. Okay, perception.
Of course.
I'll take a look.
I don't want to do that fight again, that's for sure. Here's my counsel, slaver. Die! Yeah. Divest your investments, buddy. Free them all. Give them all the money you earned off their labor.
Can't get a good shot with this.
And don't let it happen again. Aloth, do you mind, buddy? You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna deal with these Aloth tentacles, please. Yeah, more of them.
Dead on.
Consider that's not very helpful.
Hilariously, the sooner we deal with the spores, the better. I fear that if you just kill the slavers, they'll go, okay, my son inherits all of my property. It's better to force them to give all the money they earned off someone else's labor back to the people who did the actual work, and then once that's good and done and proper, you can consider killing them. Honestly, much like restorative justice, you let the people they've wounded and harmed make that decision. Like, if you're an especially cruel slaver, maybe death is the best option you're allowed to take, right? But I want your investments taken away from you. You've done a horrible thing. You've treated a person like a thing. It's just bad. Okay. Elmshore. 12 hours. Go. Your party is considered high level for the content in Elmshore. If you'd like, the critical path can be increased in difficulty to give you more of a challenge. The rewards you receive will be the same regardless of the option you choose. Your choice cannot be changed once it has been selected. High level or standard. I think high level is... You're high level, then the option is high level. Time for a Google. If you choose the high level option, it adjusts to your high level. I'm going to click Standard. Which I think is the same one I clicked earlier, but we wouldn't have had the hilarious fight against the confusing spore where we all nearly died. So, worth it. Right. Now we know there are ogres up north that killed us. So, it's just lore, you know? If it didn't say high level, if it said increased challenge, or for high level, or anything other than the same word you just saw, it would have been okay. Not amazing, that's for sure. Aloth has a twisted ankle. Attaboy.
How may I help?
1 graze, 1 hit, 2 crits. So we've probably got several fears off there. Pre-fight buff things. Nearly all the buffs, and especially buff items, do not let you cast them outside of combat, which is interesting. In fact, I that's not great, but I like it because it means it doesn't expect you to buff up completely before the fight starts. Raw damage and fear. Now get up in there, buddy. I'm also going to use Aloth to try and knock these casters unconscious. Drugs, yeah, I think you're right. Do you want to crank it all the way up? Yeah, but like, is the high level a cranking it or standard cranking it? Who knows? Like, that's hard. I can see how both of those answers are what they wanted to say, but Aloth, tentacles, please. That was Gingido. Hi, Gingido kitty. We got a lot of interrupts because of the insect swarm from the Ogre Druid. Oh, jeez, buddy. Moonwell increases endurance of people in that area. We need it. Let's go. Please get it off. Heravius, please cast it. Yeah, buddy. And now Hailstorm on our enemies. And him. Yeah, I didn't think he'd get that off. Oh well. Throw a fireball into the mix, buddy. Lowering movement and speed.
I shall end
Sealness. Me too.
Woof, Sagan's got enough experience to level up because we killed the Ogre Druid. Okay, we're getting close. Aloth is nearly down again. What a boy. We can hit... Who are you? Itumak is already dead, so we can get a decent AoE out on these 3. You didn't just die. Alright, fair enough.
Got him.
Good lord. Let's get some healing out.
Can't get a good shot with this.
Would he healed on Saul? Quethe.
Shed no blood.
We're getting there.
I shall end this.
That knockdown from the standard strike is so strong.
Let's go. Shock 3 through.
1 druid, 1 matron left. Must be high level that's cranking it. Like,
Hey,
I believe that. That makes sense.
not
It's
getting
just...
through me.
Quethe. Sealness. Me too.
Forensics.
Matron is a priest-like figure. Maybe I should be taking them down first. Let's cast the Terrify.
Shock 3 through.
Quethe.
Heal self a little.
this?
Come on.
Hey, you're not
It's
getting
us
through
versus the
me.
matron. We got this. Actually, don't we? I want you to summon some Will o' the Wisps.
Damn, missed.
Get him. Alright, with the Will o' the Wisps, we should have got this. Even if a dare gets knocked down again. So it's lowering our level? I mean, I don't think so. I think it's like, do you want the game to adjust to your high level? I can imagine killed Will o' the Wisp. Yeah, well, like, at least it's not... Oof! Jeez, that was a tough one. But we did it. Ogre blood. Wow! Poor Aloth. Have another nap.
Of course.
Good time to take another nap. Yeah, absolutely. Big survival skill there. Accurate. How about resilient companion, given how quickly he went down? Poor Utumak.
Alright then.
Okay, why are we going in here? After such a heavy fight? Because we're actually going to leave Elmshore and come back in a moment. Like next episode. Because we're going to deal with an ogre in here, take the bounty, and go talk to the warden to get a whole bunch of other bounties. Because if I did just click a button that's like, hey, level up, make everyone stronger, I want to be as strong as possible to deal with it, please. Why do they keep switching to ranged weapons, man? It's bad. Should be stubborn and, like, remove all of their other weapons. Okay, let's go.
Leave it to me.
Sorry, bears. There he is, Nalren the Wise. That's our target. Petrifying, dealing slash damage. Actually, don't want you to cast yet, Grieving. No. No. That's it. Now we get the interrupts and the damage, the raw damage. Aloth's in melee again, somehow. That boy's very sad. Is very guilty and is causing trouble because of it. Healing, endurance, and knocking back. None of us are wounded, so we might save that a little bit. Let's knock back some enemies. Now we're going to get that interrupt out on us. One beside you and not behind you. But Slam Shadows also doesn't sit at the front. Like, this is unnecessary, buddy. Borrowed Instinct, Detonate. I want Ringleader. I want to charm as many as possible. Especially from the Matrix. Please get it out. You can do it. Damn it. Wasn't fast enough to not summon.
Can't get a good shot with this.
There, we got a matron.
I shall end.
Burn and push back. Moonwell. Healing. Good night, Gibbled. Sleep tight.
Can't get a good shot with
It's 10 o'clock now. We're going to see how this fight goes and end tonight's session. If we die, I'm afraid we're just calling it. We'll have to start again next. Slam Shadows is down. We'll have to try again when we load. Next week. Yeah, it's 10 o'clock. We had a good go. Oh. I don't think Aloth can just take him. Yeah. Dare's holding on, but I'm calling it, I'm afraid. I don't think we'll make it. So the autosave and leave. That's just how it goes. We're not strong enough. Maybe we need to take a look at our inventory. Maybe we need to examine which companions are bringing in. Again, we don't have dudes, so we don't have a healer. Hierophis is doing his best, but not that kind of guy. Okay, save game. We'll save it as stupid ogres. Or we'll misclick it. Maybe there was a bounty. He was doing evil things to us. Okay, that's that. Medics. Yeah, it is a bit of a pain, huh? A bit above our level. I'm afraid it's a bad time for you to jump in because we finish at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so that's it for tonight. But you can always check out the whole VOD to see what this episode was like, and even the whole story except episode 9, which was good fun. We love our VODs. Should borrow our CAD newer Ogre Pal? Yeah, man, we'll talk in. Be like, hey, man, yeah, good night, medic. So maybe we'll see you again, okay? We do this every Monday night at 7, and which is 3 hours ago. And we also go on Wednesday nights to play Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster, also at 7 till 10. So that's 3 hours ago in your local time. Good night. Otherwise, thanks very much for joining me, everybody, and thanks everyone in the VOD. I hope you enjoy our choices and how Act 2 ended. I will say that it is not as pointless as it seems, and the things we said were very impactful in the long run. That's what Pillars is about. I hope you'll join us again, and it's always a pleasure and always a lot of fun to play through games with you guys, so I look forward to it every week, huh? See ya.